Okay, let's come on in and grab a seat. I gave you extra time, which unfortunately cuts into our speaker's time. So we have to be careful how we give and take of time. Thank you for your attention this morning so far. I want to remind you, if you have questions, use the yellow 3x5 cards. Write your question, put it in the box. There is a pen back there. If you don't have a pen, see me and I'll let you borrow one. There's also some on the pew backs. If you are a member of the church anywhere, you know where to find pens and visitors cards. So you know how to find those. Please fill out your questions. Thank you to everyone who's here this morning. I know some are viewing this online, and so thank you to them as well. Our speaker now will be Adam Carlson. He preaches for the church in DeSoto, and so he has a far drive. He doesn't live in DeSoto, but still has a far drive to get here. So Adam, anything else you want to introduce yourself, please do, but thank you for sharing your lesson. His topic will be Ministers of God in Honduras, and thank you for being here today. Turn it over to you.
All right, well, good morning, and we are glad and we're grateful to be here. And I want to say from the outset, before I forget, what I'm going to be talking about in this session, of course, is some of the work in Honduras. And I want to, while I have the opportunity to personally express my thanks to the congregation here at Foristell for aiding us in this work financially. Helped enable Samantha and I to be able to go. My wife Samantha is here with me, the lovely lady right there. And so we've been blessed to be able to make two trips to Honduras together. The first trip was in July of 2023. And then much more recently, September of this year, September 5th through 12th, we were able to go back. So I want to share with you, of course, just a little bit. I want to start with some kind of fun facts about Honduras. There, of course, is a map of the country, and Honduras, of course, is a Spanish-speaking country, as is virtually all of Central America, and that, of course, is due to the influence of the Spanish colonization, and Honduras was a Spanish colony until the year 1821, so you think about that, just a little over 200 years, and, you know, in some ways that may seem like a long time, but in other ways it's not that long, and so a lot of that influence still lingers, primarily, especially with the language, but the whole country, total population is about 10 million. So a relatively small country, and covers a little bit over 43,000 square miles. And the area that we worked in, and so, you know, here we have our different regions, states, and then within the states we have the counties. Well, Honduras has that, but they refer to their different regions as districts or departments, is how they refer to it. And the area in which we worked, it was the Francisco Morazan department, and so there is some more factual information concerning that, and some 1 million or so of Honduras' 10 million inhabitants live within that area, and that, of course, is the area in which you find Tegucigalpa, the capital city of Honduras, and by far the most populous city in the country. And we did do some work in Tegucigalpa, which I'll be talking about, but we did much of our work in some of the outlying areas. So we'll go ahead and look at some of that. So initially, we were going to go here, the region here, Yoro, and right there, Sulaco. That's an area known as Magotes. That is initially where we had intended to work this year, but due to some unrest in that region, primarily drug cartel activity. The brethren in Honduras deemed that it probably would not be expedient or necessarily safe at the present time for us to go into that area. So other arrangements were made, and this is, of course, where we worked here in this area right here. So kind of there in the middle part of the country. And so also one advantage to doing short-term missions like this, for one, Honduras is geographically much closer to stateside, and so it's a shorter distance as far as travel time is concerned. And of course, there is the, if you're like me, not fluent in Spanish, can be a little bit of a language barrier, but also right now, with the time change, we in Honduras, we are in the same time zone. And so when you come and go, at most, there's no more than an hour's time difference. And so when you come and go, you don't have to worry about the jet lag or trying to figure out, what time it is here versus there. And I'm sure that's something Aaron can relate to quite well. So there are some advantages to it in that regard. And, I was thinking about it as well when we were not able to go where we had intended to go. It brought to mind Acts chapter 16, verses 6 and 7, there concerning some of the areas that Paul desired to go into, but for reasons that are not revealed, Luke tells us that he was forbidden by the Holy Spirit from doing so. But in this case, we understand why we were not able to go, but I did see a little bit of a parallel there to that. So moving on just a little bit further, this was, I'll do just a quick day-by-day narrative. This was Friday evening, September 5th, when we arrived. This was on the grounds of our hotel where we stayed, the Hotel Santa Lucia Resort in Santa Lucia. A very nice kind of tourist area, and so that's where we stayed. And here we were unpacking supplies that we would use for the week. We took, for example, a lot of things such as over-the-counter or non-prescription medication. We did some medical work. We took a lot of school supplies such as notepads, pencils, colored pencils. We took some little wooden model airplane kind of kits for the children, things like that. So here we were unpacking and organizing those things. Then we come in over into Saturday, September 6th. This was our first day of work. Now, to get to a lot of places in Honduras, you have to walk, and here, this was the pathway in which we took to get to the church building, La Cañada, the congregation there in the Valley of the Angels. And to get there, either way, you are going to climb a hill. Now, whether you come up or come down is going to depend on which way you go, but the building is kind of on the side of this hill, and I'll have a picture of that here in a moment. But as far as the landscape goes, there are a lot of hills, mountains in Honduras. So if you are going to go to Honduras, I would suggest, if you haven't done so, investing in a good pair of hiking boots. That can be very helpful. I have a pair that I took with me the last time, and so every time I put those on, I think they have accompanied me twice to Honduras, and I was very grateful for that. But here we go. This is some part of the work that we did a little while back. Elias can tell you a little bit more about this, maybe even perhaps in greater detail than I can, but we went out to an area there not far from the church building, Villa Claudia, and it was a work that the church there is doing, and every Saturday, usually late morning or early afternoon, they will prepare a meal for the neighborhood children, and they'll have their meal, and then they will, for the children, someone will conduct a Bible class. I think of it kind of as a maybe condensed vacation Bible school, but there's a Bible lesson, and then usually some sort of like craft activity, some song there as well. And of course, being with us, Elias did the lesson on this occasion, and we have children, very young, even up through the teenage years, to come and be a part of that. And of course, Honduras is a very much an impoverished country, unfortunately, and you will see that very quickly if you go. And so, but it was our pleasure and an honor to be able to aid in meeting that particular need. On average, I believe about 25 to 30 children every week are fed as a result of this. And of course, there I thought of, the accounts of Matthew through Luke, there when the children came to Jesus, and Jesus told the disciples what? Forbid them not. And that is exactly what we tried to do there in our time. And so, in addition to that, we had some playtime there with them. In the picture there is Josh Scruggs. Josh is one of our deacons at DeSoto, and he is very fluent in conversational Spanish, and so he was a tremendous asset to us in that work. And of course, soccer is kind of the national pastime, if you would, kind of like baseball is here. And so most anywhere you go, there's going to be a soccer ball somewhere nearby. And so the children, of course, enjoyed that. And so we had some fun as well, but we did work very hard and very diligently. Now this right here, this I did not get to be a part of, but this is part of the same effort that I was speaking of a moment ago. An area a little further out and more or less on top of a mountain. Some time ago, a few months ago, it was discovered that there were children kind of scourging through a landfill to try to find things to eat. And so that effort to feed the children was extended from the community out into this area. And there's been talk, and God willing, at some point, once the finances are worked out and perhaps location can be found, to set up some more resources to help these children even more. But they too, every weekend, every Saturday, they are being fed and also being presented with a Bible lesson. And so they are getting not only that physical nourishment that they need, but they are also getting fed spiritually. And so hopefully that will plant the seeds, and who knows, perhaps many or hopefully all of them will go on to become part of the church, and maybe they in their lifetimes will be able to do great things in teaching the gospel as well. But that is the reality in that part of the world for a lot of people. And so we need to be mindful of those things. And so, we need not take anything that we have here for granted. Moving on here quickly, this was really neat. Saturday, September 6th, that evening, this was back at a meeting room, conference room area of the hotel, and we were able to conduct a marriage seminar. When we think about mission work, we oftentimes think about teaching the gospel to those outside the body of Christ, and certainly that is what we should do. But we also don't need to forget that in many of these regions there are Christians already there, and they need to be encouraged as well. When you go to Acts 15, for example, about verse 36, when you see them getting ready to start that second missionary journey, what was Paul's desire? To return to the regions visited in the first trip And what does he say that he wanted to do concerning the brethren there? To see how they do. And so we went, so part of our work as well was to edify and to encourage the brethren there as well. So we had families joining us from two congregations there in La Cañada, as well as the San Miguel congregation in Tegucigalpa, and several of them brought children, and we had activities set up for the children during that time as well. And it was a wonderful evening, and so we got to take part in that. Speaking there is Zach Curry. For those of you that don't know, Zach is my brother-in-law, and he is a big part of the work in Honduras as well. So he was speaking there to a joint session with Elias providing translation. We are grateful to have good translators with us on those trips. So again, a time of edification. And then we had breakout sessions, separate sessions for the men and the women. So we have that as well. And at the end of it, there were several of the men present who specifically requested prayers for their marriages. And so we were able to do a great thing with that as well. And, and something we need to remember as well is that, when it comes to things such as marriage and any matter for that, God's word is universal, and what the scriptures teach us concerning marriage here is exactly the same thing in Honduras, Vanuatu, or wherever that it may be. And so we would do well to remember that also. So move on. Sunday, here we took the drive over to Tegucigalpa. They're kind of to the outskirts of the city. And here, Elias Roque Sr., Elias's father, works as the local evangelist there. And he has been there for quite some time and has been doing a good work in that region for a good many years now. And we are thankful to him. But this is the outside of their building. Then we go inside. We had Enrique. Enrique is from El Salvador, and he was able to make the trip. He told us about 6 or 7 hour drive for him, but he was able to come and be a part of the work. He did some preaching, and he also served as one of our drivers. We were thankful for him and his service, and so we were able to have that, and we opened the service with a brief message from him. That was very encouraging. And then we move on. Now, here, this was really neat. Of course, I think about 1 Corinthians 14 when we're in places like that where there may be a language barrier. Paul talks in great detail in talking about maintaining order in the worship assembly. He talks a lot about the importance of having interpreters. And so we were able to do that. Dennis Dodd was able to join us on this trip as well. He worships with Pacific. He did some of the song leading, and so we alternated in the service the hymns between English and Spanish, and so that way everyone present could understand, what does Paul say in 1 Corinthians 14? He says, I will sing with the Spirit, and I will sing with understanding. And so that is a good principle for us to remember when we are in situations such as that. But we had I'm going to skip. This is Lamb of God in Spanish. Samuel, Elias's brother, led us in that. So even if you don't know the language, you will probably recognize the tunes, and you can kind of sing along with it in that regard. So just to kind of give you a little idea there. So moving on, Josh, again, he led us in prayer, again, translation. And so we would do very well, if you ever wonder how does what Paul wrote the Corinthians, how can that apply to us today? Well, it's the same thing. You know, we have different cultures, we have different languages, and those principles still apply. And so we would do well to remember that. And then my brother-in-law Zach, he preached in that assembly there concerning biblical authority, not only authority concerning worship, but he also discussed things such as marriage and the order of the home. And we need to remember that in all aspects of life, there is biblical authority that is to be followed. All right, moving on a little bit. This was pretty neat. After the worship assembly dismissed, we separated men and women, and there simultaneously, of course, different parts of the building, Samantha and I were able to address both the men and the women, and we talked about, kind of generally speaking, the temptations and the issues that one may face concerning internet, social media usage. And so we talked about that and how to perhaps overcome some of those things. So that's Christy translating for Samantha there with the ladies. And so it was a very encouraging time and a very encouraging day. And I will tell you, we assembled and began, I believe, at about 9:30 or so that morning, and we didn't dismiss until about 1:30 or 1:45. And after all of this, the church provided a meal for us, and so we had a great time of fellowship, and I did not hear anyone complaining about the length of time. No one left early. There was no rush, no urgency in that regard, and so that might be something that maybe we want to think about. Perhaps maybe sometimes we're maybe a little too beholden to the clock. So maybe something we want to consider. But moving on, we came back to La Cañada. There's kind of a picture of the outside of the church building. You walk in, concrete floor, pews, but the pews are not padded. They are just solid wood. There is electricity in the building. As you can see, they do have PowerPoint. They are equipped for that, and so that was utilized in the services. And so it was here that we would work the rest of the week. We would, during the day, we would go out in groups, do evangelism, going door to door, house to house. Then in the afternoon, there would be a medical clinic. And then in the evening, we would have a service with different men in the group doing the preaching. Of course, primarily our Spanish-speaking brethren, because this was a predominantly Spanish-speaking region, so it would make more sense that those coming should be able to hear the message in their native tongue. And so that's how we did that. So I don't have a lot of time left here, so I'm going to go ahead and just kind of skip ahead a little bit. So we come to Monday. This is David. He was one of at least 5 that were immersed during our time and our work there. The baptistry is not inside like they commonly are here, but rather the cement pool outside. But nonetheless, here is water. And that is another principle that is universal in scope. And he was baptized by Robert, who is Elias's brother-in-law. And so Robert is doing a very good work in that region as well, and we are thankful for him and for his zeal. Then we did some construction work as well. There was a new deck that was, and this has since been completed, but it was constructed. The other previously had become dilapidated, and so it was deemed expedient to tear it down and to start over. And so that was a project that was begun during our time there. Due to how hilly the terrain is, a lot of the materials had to be carried by hand. 100-pound cement bags, for example, and so It was a little bit more manual labor than I was accustomed to, but I was able to help with that some, and I'm grateful for that. And the intention for that is to use it for example, Bible classes and things such as that. And so I know the brethren there will make very wise and very good use of it. And so, and there's a little bit better picture. The young man there, Rudy, he is one of the preachers that worked with us. He's a native of Honduras. He lives near the border with Nicaragua, but he was able to make the trip and help us, and he also has some experience with welding. And so having that skill was very helpful as well, and so you can kind of see some of the progress there. So we had an evening service, like I said, in the evening. The text that evening was Revelation 3:19 through 21. Now again, since it was in Spanish, I couldn't fully understand most of it, but I know that it was biblical, and I know that all who heard were blessed. So I'm thankful for that. So again, there's a couple of pictures of the clinic. Again, think about, what did Jesus say? They that are whole do not need a physician, but they that are sick. Now, of course, I know there he's talking metaphorically of sin, but we also need to remember there are physical needs that need to be met as well. And so we tried our best to accommodate those needs. And so we ended up, I believe, from Monday to Wednesday when we ran the clinic, I believe we ended up serving 160 or so individuals during that time. We were fortunate to have a physician with us, and so he was helpful, and a young lady in our group actually fell ill for about a day and a half or so, and he was able to help her. She became dehydrated, and he was able to get her an IV and get her what she needed, and so we were thankful for that. Also, during this time, we gave out the school supplies to the children. Each child that came received a backpack and a pair of shoes as well, some flip-flops and things like that. Those were purchased largely by my brother-in-law at Dollar General, and he went and, of course, usually shoes are not purchased in that large a quantity, and so naturally the cashier asked him about that, and he explained what it was for, and so she, even though maybe under store policy wasn't supposed to do so, applied her employee discount to that, and so that we are grateful for that as well. So again, some of the children's classes, there the ladies would teach the children in the evening service while the preaching was taking place, kind of a VBS type format, and so I know the children enjoyed that immensely. Here we have Ruth. She was another one of the individuals that was immersed during that week. She has a very young daughter, less than a year old, and some of our group made contact with her. Ruth also happens to be very fluent in English, and so that worked out well, but we were able to help her some as well, got some medication for her daughter who'd been a little bit sickly for a little while, and also some funds were made available to help her with groceries for a couple of months or so. So we were fortunate to be able to do that. But we did a lot of evangelism. Obviously, at the time, the end of the trip, there were 6 baptisms. There may have been more since then. I'm not aware of that, but there we have that. Again, just kind of some more of what we were doing during our time. We ate very well. Aaron was talking about the food. Vanuatu, we too ate very well while we were there, large part thanks to Miss Ruth, Elias's mother, and also his sister Claudia. They oversee the meal and food preparation during our time. The church building at La Cañada is fortunate to have a full-service kitchen, and so most everything is prepared there on site, and we were very well taken care of, so we're fortunate for that. And our meals were typically eaten outside, and we were fortunate to have largely good weather. We had some rain to contend with, but nothing too severe. But we were very blessed with good weather during that time. Then we, again, just kind of some more work that was done on the building. So you can see it a little bit better there. But then here's kind of all the different men that worked with us in that group. There were at least three, aside from us, there were at least three countries represented in this group: Honduras, Nicaragua, and El Salvador. And we were very thankful for those men and the work that they are doing in that region of the world. Then we had a tourist day. Usually, you travel somewhere like that, you might have some time for tourism. We did do some of that, but the majority of our time was, of course, engaging in the work. And so a lot of great things going there. Again, not uncommon to see various forms of social unrest. Now here, I'm not entirely clear what the issue was, but various healthcare workers were on strike while we were en route to the airport for our return flight. Thankfully, we made it on time and did not miss or have to reschedule any flights. So we were glad for that, but nonetheless, that is a summation of our time in Honduras. One thing I will say as we close, of course, sin is a universal problem. We see that all throughout the scriptures, and in Honduras, one issue you see consistently is that of fornication. It is not at all uncommon to see men and women living together unmarried. One house that we visited, and gentlemen there we talked to, it was that sort of situation, and they have 4 children together, and so they need some instruction concerning, for example, marriage. And so again, I know those are issues that are common here as well, but it's also prevalent in other places. But we do our best to teach them the gospel and try to bring them into the body of Christ. And so we are very thankful for the ongoing work there, and Lord willing, hopefully Samantha and I will be able to return again. But again, if you want to learn more about the work there, I would recommend, before talking to me, talk to Elias. Elias is from Honduras, and he knows the people and the culture and the language far better than I do, but we could get you started on that and get you some information if that might be something that you would want to look into for the future. And again, it's short term. You're only there for about a week, and it's a whole lot closer to home. And so I know sometimes travel can be a little stressful, or if you're going to a different culture, but there are very good brethren there that I know that would be thrilled to meet you and work with you in that. And so give that some prayer and some consideration. And so my time's about up, so I'll go ahead and stop here, and then I guess we will resume. So thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Adam. Those are some beautiful pictures, aren't they? I'm ready to go. Looks like a beautiful place with beautiful people, and we're thankful for your trip. for your dedication to the gospel, not only there, but also in DeSoto and where you and your family are working. So thank you. What a good lesson about being ministers of God in Honduras. And it's work. No doubt you guys worked many, many hours, the both of you. So thank you for that. Our next lesson will be at 11 o'clock. And we are having both lessons for men and women. So men, stay here. Ladies, you'll be in the teen classroom, which is out these doors to the left. Go to the end of the hallway, and then go to the right. You'll see it. So ladies, there will be a class for the ladies. You're welcome to that. And Elias will be talking here about being ministers of God to Spanish speakers. And Christy will be talking about ministers of God to women. And so some great lessons lined up. For the next 5 or so minutes, feel free to stand up, stretch your legs. Some good lessons already, and some good ones yet to come. So having a good time fellowshipping. There's still, I think, some food and coffee in the hallway. Make yourself at home, and let me know if you need anything. You are dismissed for 5 minutes.